Hi all, today we're going to be talking about the NS-44 Commissioner, the heaviest hitting pistol in the entire game. So, the Commissioner is a revolver. It hits really hard. It hits for 450 damage within 8 meters, which is, on a headshot, enough to one-shot an infiltrator not running auxiliary shield. This is very powerful. It means this gun has huge upfront alpha, especially if you can aim for headshots, and, provided you have the raw skill, it will drop targets extremely quickly, even most of the time in one bullet, provided you land that headshot. The problem is, with a fire rate of 170 RPM and only mediocre hipfire accuracy, the gun is extremely punishing if you miss. In addition, the velocity is just okay for a pistol. The reload speed is on the long side at 4 seconds long, 3 seconds short, and because it's a 6-cylinder revolver, you get 6 shots. The Commissioner is a good pistol, but it has several caveats that heavily limit its true effectiveness. You can't really effectively run this pistol as a backup panic pistol because, unlike most other pistols, the Commissioner has a significantly longer equip time. Most pistols in this game have a 0.25 second equip time. The Commissioner and the Blackhand, by extension, have a 0.45. What this means is that, compared to other pistols, it will take you 200 more milliseconds in order to pull it out, which can be life or death when you need to use it as a panic weapon. Unfortunately, this does heavily limit its effectiveness in its use, but you still can primary it due to its sheer damage, allowing you to get pretty good use out of it. In the attachment lineup, you've got your standard 1 to 2x pistol optics. Either one works here, it's all personal preference. And in the rail, you've got a laser, a dark light, and sometimes you've got the special colored lasers. If you really need to run the dark light to look at infiltrators, you can, but I personally would not recommend it. Go for the laser. The laser is just a free stat buff that, you should probably be running. So, the Commissioner, unfortunately, kind of suffers from being extremely punishing to use. Don't get me wrong, it is a good pistol. It's just really punishing when you mess it up. And, unfortunately, if you don't have really good mechanical aim, it's not going to be the pistol for you. So, rapidly jumping into live gameplay here, because it's Connery and there's not a whole lot to talk about with the Commissioner. It is currently 8:55 p.m. on a Thursday night. And, we're just going to do the standard, live gameplay, show you what this gun is all about. So, the Commissioner it's pretty alright, depending on your usage. It is definitely one of the most mechanically demanding pistols in the game, because if you start missing your shots, you're going to die. With the extremely slow rate of fire of only 170 RPM, and the rather punishing hipfire codifier even with the laser, I mean, it's alright, but it's not, it's not great. You will miss from time to time. Unfortunately, once you start to miss, you're probably going to die more often than not. However, as a primary, it does work very effectively due to its sheer upfront damage, and in this regard, I think this is the best usage for the Commissioner. It does work great as a primary, unless you get stabbed by an Amaterasu. Cool. But you put one bullet into a guy and you've almost done half his hit pool because it's 450 damage per bullet. And this can very much make the difference between your life and your death. Or you can flick infiltrators for 900 damage on a headshot and one-shot them. Unless they're running auxiliary shield, of course. And this will, it'll make you laugh because, frankly, it's pretty funny to just drop an infiltrator in one bullet to the head. But, outside of demanding a ton of mechanical aim, this pistol is just unfortunately not that good anymore. Like, surely, it absolutely still has its uses, don't get me wrong. Even despite the equip penalty, you still can use it as a backup pistol, don't get me wrong. It's just, due to its equip time, you're going to be feeling the pain. If you're going to primary it, I think Gunslinger is absolutely a must on this weapon for the faster equip speed and the additional reload speed upon getting kills, which will very much help alleviate the slow reload speed concerns. That said, the Commissioner it's hard nowadays to mostly justify bringing it over an Underboss. The Underboss does lose a little bit in the damage department, after all it will not one-shot headshot infiltrators, but it has significantly better rate of fire, better handling overall, and a faster reload speed. And it doesn't suffer the same equip speed penalty, so if you want a really punchy pistol, the Underboss is probably your better bet if you're in the market for a revolver. Not that Commissioner is bad, and if you're going for a pistol Araxiums, it's definitely worth Araxiuming. It is a good pistol. It's just, for most players, you're probably going to get more use out of an Underboss just because the Underboss is so much more forgiving to use. And, you know, if you have really good aim, you can absolutely sledgehammer people at range with the Commissioner. Unfortunately, the muzzle velocity is on the low end to be doing this at only 450 meters a second, but you can absolutely sledgehammer people at range with it because it hits so hard. It drops off the 225 damage, which means, you know, at long range you're hitting for 450 on a headshot, which is not to be stifled with. Unfortunately, it will not one-shot headshot infiltrators at all ranges, but nonetheless, it is still quite a strong option. Unfortunately, you know, if you're going to be primarying a pistol, you can usually primary something like a Pilot or an Underboss a little more effectively than a Commissioner. So the Commissioner's real novelty compared to other pistols is its sheer alpha damage. Which does make the weapon fun to use, of course. It is fun to blat people in the head for 900 damage. But, you know, sometimes you're going to miss, and, you know, if you'd had a different pistol in your hands, you might have survived an engagement that you just won't survive with the Commissioner because of its slow-ass refire time. It's, like I keep saying, it's a good pistol, it's plagued by handling problems more than anything. But if you have the mechanical aim to use it, and you want to primary a pistol, especially on Infiltrator or Heavy, you know, I would recommend grabbing it. For most players, as a generally used pistol, I do think a Pilot or an Underboss will serve you much better. Just because they're significantly more forgiving. And that's really the crux of the issue with the Commissioner, is it's extremely unforgiving to use. It has good stats, apart from its equip speed penalty, but, you know, unless you have the mechanical aim to, like, guarantee you're hitting your shots, there's a good chance you're just going to get killed with it as soon as you miss a shot. And, you know, that's the way it is. It used to be very strong, but nowadays it's alright, you know? I couldn't really justify bringing it over an Underboss or a Pilot if you just need a general usage pistol.
We've successfully defended the facility.
Wow. Yeah, see, and if you have bad mechanical aim like that, you will probably get dropped. Unfortunately, that was actually a rather poor example, because that Heavy Assault should have dropped me. I got lucky in that he didn't have very good aim. But that Heavy Assault absolutely should have killed me. With those repeated misses, I should have died. And if I'd tried doing that at closer range, I almost certainly would have died. Alright, over to Genuine Physics. I'm not sure how long we're going to keep... I'm not sure how long this video is going to be, because there's not a whole lot to talk about with the Commissioner itself. In terms of... Because normally I can spend like 3 or 4 minutes just kind of like, you know, looking at the weapon and telling you my attachments for it. But, you know, the Commissioner is built, you know, put a 1X on it, put a laser on it. There's not really a whole lot to say about it in that regard. So instead, you're just going to get treated to more live gameplay, as we're about to lose our Sunder at Genuine Physics. So, overall, I think the thing to say about the Commissioner is, if you have very strong mechanical aim, I think it's fine. But I think that even if you have very strong mechanical aim, you're probably better off with a Pilot or an Underboss. I mean, when you compare the two pistols, wherever the Underboss is gone, I hate my weapons list. You know, while the Underboss doesn't hit nearly as hard, it does fire faster and has half a second better reload speed on both sides. It's just more comfortable to use.
Show me what you're made of.
And for that regard, while the Commissioner is a good pistol, I don't think I can recommend it to most players unless you're actively looking to primary it, and you have the mechanical aim to make up for its slow rate of fire. So, thank you all. I will see you tomorrow, and, bye.